Coming up after the break, we'll take a look at...
Pardon the interruption for a very important news update.
This is no holds barred. We go hard, we go harder. In the ring, on the mic, every shot is your holds barred. Feel the charge, feel the armor. Bobby Josh in your brain, turn it up, go farther, farther, farther. Theme hits loud, then the grips come off. Call out the card, call every payoff. Botches, legends, titles, and heat. Pay-per-view nights, run it back, repeat. They slam, we analyze. Move for move, every feud, every bruise, every pivot move. This is no holds barred. We go hard, we go harder. In the ring, on the mic, every shot is your holds barred. Feel the charge, feel the armor. Bobby Josh in your brain, turn it up, go farther. Turn it up, go farther. Turn it up, go farther. No script, just true. Every jab breaks through. From the bell to the brawl. Name the show. We want it all. 1, 2, 3. This is no holds barred. We go hard, we go harder. In the ring, on the mic, every shot is no holds barred. Feel the charge, feel the armor. Bobby Josh in your brain, turn it up, go farther. Turn it up, go farther. Turn it up, go farther.
All right. Good afternoon. Happy Saturday, everyone who's tuning in from wherever you're watching, and those who are tuning afterwards. Appreciate you watching the No Holds Barred Wrestling Podcast here on FTSN. We got another WrestleMania Rewind, WrestleMania 3, which many claim to be maybe the greatest WrestleMania of all time. I'm Bobby Finstock, joined always by my tag team partner, Josh Kimmel. Josh, how you doing, my man?
Man, I am doing great on this Saturday afternoon. Sun is still shining and is going to shine for the next 3 hours or so. That's this time of the year. So I don't know what I'm saying. All I know is WrestleMania is around the corner. That's why we're doing this. And I'm excited to, Bobby, what I've been doing, I've been live ranking these. If we're going to go 1 to 42, I might as well have okay, well, this one slots here because I've done that. And spoiler alert, this is not number 1 or number 2 so far for me. This
out of the 3, this is 3.
It is.
Wow.
It is, man.
Wow. Okay.
Well, listen, I'm not saying it was a bad show. I'm not. And I'm not saying that it was a fun show. I'm saying it was, I expected more. I expected a little bit more in my adult life looking at this going, okay, what is the spectacle that saved WWF at the time? I didn't see it. I saw it in the main event, but I didn't see it throughout the show. I didn't see it throughout the show. The whole show was a house show. The main events were the main events. It was really a dividing line between Coco Beware and Hulk and Andre. It was a true prelim. Wow. It was like the entire thing was a pre-match, pre-show card. And then we get to and there were some stories mixed in there. Listen, I'm not slamming the whole show. I'm just telling you how I felt.
Yeah. It's good. I mean, honestly, that gives me a perspective because I did kind of feel that way. And I think what made this arguably the greatest WrestleMania was, first off, you had a great wrestling match with Steamboat and Savage. And then you had a great main event with just, the blockbuster of it all with Hogan and Andre. And honestly, watching it kind of not as a fan, still a fan because I'm a fan of both those guys' legends, but as just let me kind of watch this. Andre, they kind of told a good story. It kind of went the way it was supposed to go, how it started. We're going to get into all of that. But I love that you're doing that. And I am surprised. It makes me kind of reflect because now I'm thinking, wait, WrestleMania 2, WrestleMania 1 with WrestleMania 3. And you think about the matches prior, you might be onto something. And I'm really looking forward to WrestleMania 4, which is going to be a little different. We know the tournament's coming. But Pontiac, Silverdome, Hogan, Andre, main event. WWE says, 93,000 people in attendance when it was actually 78,000. Still a lot of people, over I don't know, what was it? Almost 1 million fans watching around the world or in the United States, 7 million, whatever. This was a major thing. And I'll tell you though, the difference between WrestleMania 3, 2, and 1, 3 felt like the bigger spectacle. It looked massive. It looked like, okay, this is the Super Bowl. Like you could tell WrestleMania 1 what their plan was. Still kind of felt indie, kind of sorta, kind of like the territory type of feel to it. Still felt big with with Muhammad Ali and whatever, but it felt territorial. WrestleMania 2, 3 different cities, didn't have that big feel to it, didn't have that major arena presence. Still was WrestleMania, but WrestleMania 3 had that blockbuster feel to it. That's what I will give WrestleMania 3 while I'm watching this. And again, you bring up a crazy point. I know Finn Stanza says he knows these WrestleManias like the back of his hand, and he was kept telling me about Little Tokyo. And we get to the point of Little Tokyo, and we're gonna get to all that. And if I miss anything, Josh, because I'm doing 1,000 things like you at once with the channel and with the shows and whatever. So I knew I missed the Jake Roberts one, so I had to go back and put that because I was like, wait, damn it! So I had to go back and add it, that one's a decent one to talk about. But let's go ahead. Maria's in the house. Great to see Maria. She says this Mania is lots of fun. Almost every match had a stipulation. I love stipulations. I will say the one thing I love about this era is everybody had a gimmick. Everybody was something. Like, such big personalities. The Honky Tonk Man, Jake the Snake, Coco Beware, King Kong Bundy, Andre the Giant. And if you didn't have a gimmick, you didn't fit in. That's what's crazy. Nowadays, you could get away with that. Back then, you couldn't. So, you have anything to say before we get to our first contest to discuss?
Yeah, I do want to say something is going to be a very, very if we do all of them, which I hope we do. I want to continue this. I don't care if we go the rest of the year just doing all.
Yeah, I'm down doing it. I'm gonna get through them all. 41.
I 42. Can't stand, and this is what drives me. Like when there's I'm just throwing it out there. Oh, there's an Hangman Page versus Omega match I want to watch. Oh, there's a Ospreay versus Bryan Danielson match. But when I buy that pay-per-view, when I spend that money at $59 or whatever the case may be, I don't want to watch 15 matches in one night. I don't need that much. Now, it's going to be a trend because it's WrestleMania. They got to have a bunch. They had 12 matches on this card. To me, that's insane. It's totally, it's irrational to have this many matches on a card. It's too much to remember for one fan. It's too much to follow. It's ridiculous. The average time per match was 7 minutes and 5 seconds. The longest match was Ricky Steamboat and Savage, 14 minutes and 35 seconds. The shortest match was Butch Reed and Coco Beware. I don't know how entertaining it is to watch a bunch of 5-minute matches that had meaning, but I'll just say this. I like the way it is now with the WWE, where it's 5-6 matches. I prefer that because it gets my attention. It matters. Like when you watch baseball, there's 162 games. I don't need to watch every single game. But when it's football, the NFL, there's 17 games. You need to watch every single one of them. Same thing can be said about a wrestling card. If there's 12 matches, I go ahead and already go, okay, not watching that one, not watching that one. I can close my eyes during that one. Same thing. Rays are playing the Royals. I don't care. I'll wait till they play the Yankees and watch. Same thing with today's age. I prefer less. Less is more. But that being said, we'll go through all 12. The first match was what? Can-Am Connection versus Bob Orton in the Magnificent Morocco with Mr. Fuji.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know which one I forgot. I knew I forgot one because there were so many. And that was the Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov. That is the one that I don't have a graphic for. That's like the last match before the Hogan match. So we could discuss that, but I don't have a graphic for it, but that's okay. But yes, the first match is the Can-Am Connection, which defeated the Morocco, Don Morocco, and Bob Orton. What did you think of this contest?
It was a good opening match. Like this is what you expect to open up a pay-per-view. Two teams that are professional. They know how to work. They look like professional wrestlers. Bob Orton, watching him was fun. I liked seeing his gimmick and how he wrestles. Rick Martel looks amazing out there. But again, It was just a match. It went 5 minutes and 37 seconds. It was a good opening match. It got the fans into it. You kind of wanted to see that. Like the Can-Am Connection were kind of like, I guess, new age at the time. I'm not sure. I liked it. I was glad it was over, honestly, because I was really looking forward to the next match. But what do you think about the Can-Am
I'll
Connection?
tell you what. I was looking forward to seeing Morocco because I never really got to see one of his matches or how he worked. And I was actually very impressed for his size, the way he looked. He worked pretty well. I like the way there was a sequence there where he did a rollover and they kind of stopped and he tripped over one. And I thought it was really good. I was really impressed with Don Morocco. And of course, you know, we all know about Bob Orton and Ricky Martel and everything else. So it was really cool to see them. And of course, Mr. Fuji, who ends up managing Yokozuna. My son was so excited to see Mr. Fuji. He was like, "Oh, that's Yokozuna's manager." I was like, "Yokozuna ain't there yet," but it was really cool and it was a fun contest. It was fun to watch, and that's what I do get an enjoyment out of this. Is these are guys that we haven't seen in years.
Yep.
These are guys that I watched when I was kids. When I would go pick up a Blockbuster or a Hollywood Video, and I'd watch these guys. And of course, these guys weren't around when we were kids. But then to watch them again now, it's really cool, and I just love all the characters. But you talk about that next match, and this one, yeah, like you said, only went about 5 minutes, 37 seconds. Next one is Billy Jack Hines and with Bobby Heenan and Hercules. And my goodness, talk about physicality. Talk about like way ahead of its time in regards of brutality. What did you think of this one?
This guy, Billy Jack Haynes, has the worst haircut in wrestling history. Mostly, like I'm just gonna put it out there. What is he, Shaggy from Scooby-Doo on roids? No, this match was cool. I was really, really looking forward to seeing Hercules with that massive chain knock him out. I've seen this match before. I was familiar with this. I was looking forward to seeing it as an older person now to get a different perspective since I talk about wrestling on this channel twice a week. So watched it a little bit differently. Again, and we're going to talk about finishes the matches a lot in this show. Nobody wants to pay for a pay-per-view and watch double countouts. It doesn't protect anybody. It doesn't help anybody. That match was more about the angle afterwards rather than the match because they just had nobody could lose. You can tell they had the up-and-coming babyface going against the massive heel in Hercules. They didn't want anybody to lose. So what do? Double count out. Lazy way out. I hate this finish. I hate WrestleMania should not have these types of finishes. And they don't have these types of finishes these days. Back then, WrestleMania 3, we'll see a lot of these flat finishes. And this was just the first one of the entire night.
Yeah, the battle of the full Nelson. Absolutely.
Yeah, it was so cool. Like, yeah, like think about that. The battle of the full Nelson. That was the story. And it got that brutal.
I was like, whoa, well, with the chain and the blood, and I really did enjoy that.
Hold on, I want to ask Maria something. Honestly, excellent finish.
Oh,
the finish isn't to me. I'm just asking. I'm not being preachy. I promise. The finish was the finish. The when the ref counts 1, 2, you don't even know the ref's counting. All of a sudden, ding, 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 they count it out. But the angle at the end was awesome. The finish of the match was bad, but the angle is that what Maria means by excellent finish? Because the angle at the end was excellent.
I'll tell you what, it left me wanting to know the next step, the next step of the story. That's how I felt about the finish. Like I'm really like interested. I'm like, man, I want to know what happened. Where did Hercules go from here? Next one though, that one went longer, 7 minutes 44 seconds. Next one was shorter, gimmick match. Little Tokyo, Little Beaver, the Haiti Kid, Lord Littlebrook. I mean, they did use, you know, my wife wouldn't have liked the word. I don't want to say little people were, you know, they kept going there, but that was the way of the times back then. But let me tell you, Hillbilly Jim, Haiti Kid, Little Beaver defeats King Kong Bundy, Little Tokyo, and Lord Littlebrook. Let me tell you something that I was reminded of, but still was a surprise to me. Like I knew back in the day watching them, but surprised me as an adult to watch. Hillbilly Jim was over. I mean, the fans loved, and he had a great look. Like, you know, same thing with Bundy, of course. He was huge, but he was over. Like, I was surprised by the level of, you know, cheering that went on when he came out. The fans were popping for this guy. And when he got the tag in, I mean, they were popping, man. This was fun. This wasn't like a match that I actually cared for. I was watching, obviously, two Hall of Fame, two legends in the ring, and I'm watching these little guys I knew nothing of. There was one, maybe little beaver, I think maybe in the one. He looked old as heck. I was like, I felt bad for him in there. But anyway, it was cool seeing those guys work. They had a good little chemistry back there. But watching these two massive giants going at it was it was fun. It was fun for 3 minutes. What'd you think?
DQ finish after a double countout finish. Back-to-back matches with no finishes. Why did they DQ? Because King Kong Bundy elbow dropped the little person. Listen, like I understand it was a comedy match. I understand the point of this match. It's a cool down match. You're going to Harley Race next and Bobby Heenan again and JYD. You need to cool the crowd off. You just had this Hercules angle. I understand it. Why can't we have a finish? We went 2 matches in a row with no finishes. Sucks. And then the very next match, we have a freaking terrible finish, but we'll get there. Could you imagine this match in 2026? How much heat this company would get? How much heat? Like, they'd be shut down. They'd be crucified all over the news networks. WWE would be massive in trouble for this kind of match, but it works. It works with someone like King Kong Bundy, who plays that like, when I say comedy, like it worked here.
Yeah.
He was so good, man.
He was really good, man. And Hillbilly Jim was way over with the crowd, dude, which was really cool. Next one, you had Harley Race taking on the Junkyard Dog. Harley, winner must bow or whatever. And of course, Harley Race wins. Harley Race, a legend in the NWA, one of the greatest champions there. Had the King gimmick. You had the old, he had the original. He was the original holder of the Jerry the King Lawler theme music that you heard there, which blasted through the arena. Junkyard Dog, legend, fun. Moolah, different type of gimmick. She looks so awkward in that pre-interview before the thing. They're talking to her and she's like looking off in the distance. And I'm like, what are you doing? Yeah. You could tell, I don't know what was going on there. But anyway, I'll let you take this one. This one was not that long either. I think 4 minutes, 20 odd seconds. What do you think of this one?
Not that long either. The whole gimmick of the match was, at least that, this is the first WrestleMania where they did the pre-match videotapes, video packages to show you the story of why they're feuding.
Yeah.
So that was cool. So we got to see that whole situation. Again, JYD takes another loss at Mania. I don't know why they didn't want to put this guy over. He was mega over with the fans, even here. He was lovable. He was great. He had charisma. But 0-for-3 at WrestleMania so far. And another flat finish. Just another, that was the finish. 1, 2, 3. JYD gets up. He's mad. He bows. And then he's celebrating. I don't know, man. I don't like the way I didn't like the way they treated him, I guess, of what I can say is because why is he losing? Who would you push at this time period? You would push someone like JYD. You would have him go over Harley Race. But again, he had the tools, he had the charisma, they just didn't push him. And it was unfair. But
this match, I'll just say, because we know Dusty's coming. And Harley Race, and then I love Harley Race as a professional wrestler, and he's one of the greatest of all time. You watch his matches with Ric Flair back in NWA. You watch his story; it's an awesome story. Dusty Rhodes. This tells me the difference between WWF and then the NWA, WCW, WWE, WCW, NWA first. Was wrestling. It was territorial. They put up great matches. They had good characters, but it was about the product in the ring, where WWF was about the character. Look, if this was Harley Race, NWA Harley Race, NWA champion, how many times he won the title back then? I'm trying to remember. That was that Harley Race. Yeah, I could see him beating Junkyard Dog. Absolutely. He would decimate the Junkyard Dog. If you put Dusty Rhodes from the NWA and WWE, he'd be the one leading the pack, probably next to or with Hulk Hogan. But that's not what this is. This was about entertainment. And I agree. If that was the case, Junkyard Dog is over with the fans. He has a great gimmick. He doesn't have a bad look. Yeah, this would be the perfect time for him to get a victory over these people, this group, this trio, and stand tall at WrestleMania with the crown and having a blast, which he did but he had to attack afterwards. So I get your point. But if this was the NWA Harley Race, I get it. I don't get it here.
Yeah. I have nothing else to say. Just sad to see JYD just lose again. It's I guarantee you there were people. The IWC existed back then. It just wasn't on the internet. You had people out there. He shouldn't. They're not putting this guy over. You know, like they had those people. They had to have. They had smart fans back then, and JYD was one of the fans that the people that fans were behind and just never got over. But you know, the funny thing about this WrestleMania as well is we had a lot of like new gimmicks that we were not featured on WrestleMania 1 and 2, and then we have the older gimmicks that were featured on WrestleMania 1 and 2, and Greg the Hammer Valentine, Brutus the Beefcake at the time, were heavily featured at WrestleMania 1 and 2. Now 3, I don't think they fit in anymore. Brutus does, but people like, did you think that was odd? You go from these matches like the Cannon Express, and then you see you know, Danny Davis and Hart Foundation. Then you see the older guys like Greg Valentine. Like, what are they still doing here? It's just so odd to see. I wonder if 40 years from now, people are going to say, like, you had Obafemi, you had this guy, but you still have Randy Orton wrestling, main eventing. Like, what are you guys doing? Like, I wonder if people are going to think that.
I don't think so, because Randy Orton's still Randy Orton. I mean, he still is, you know, and he could put up where this match, I felt that way. I did legitimately. This is one of those matches where I was like, okay, I could walk away. I could go do something. I don't have to really pay it. Let me just get through it. It didn't catch Brutus Beefcake, though. I will give flowers to, you know, looked probably the most decent there. Had me interested. I think this is when he became the barber, you know, because we see him immediately afterwards, and you know, had a good look, which was important back then. It's still important to this day. You know, but other than that, this was a snoozer. And I forgive me if I'm upsetting anyone saying that, but like, and I respect Greg the Hammer and his contributions to wrestling and all this whatnot. But I agree. I wasn't interested in seeing the Hammer at this point in time or this match. It didn't get my attention. And they had that random, like, Beefcake was upset. Brutus was upset that they won. Like, why? Why would, like, of maybe again, we got to give, you know, we didn't see the prior, you know, maybe he was trying to turn, you know, be straight. Now he's probably like, oh no, let's be good. Let's be the good guys, you know, or let's not cheat to win. And they, you know, and they win. And, you know, he's kind of like, what's going on? Cause you know, for us who didn't see the prior or know of the prior, you're kind of like, why is he upset? What's the deal?
Well, that's up to that's up to the announcers to fill you in on what's going on. That's their job. That's what they're supposed to do. If we don't know something, AEW fans, I know you're listening, something Excalibur doesn't do. Tell us what's going on. Tell us why they're mad. Tell us why there's a feud. Tell us why Brutus is upset. They didn't. They left us. I mean, we can only assume that, yeah, you're right. He was probably going to the light side, the babyface side, and
the light side.
He's upset. He's whatever, like the dark, you know, Star
he was
Wars.
Joining the Jedi Knights,
you know. But yeah, they were having issues. But yeah, we didn't. It was a throwaway match because the next match, unfortunately, was billed as Roddy Piper's last match, or he was leaving the WWF after this match. Roddy Piper versus Adrian Adonis in a, what's going on, Justin? In a hair versus hair match. I knew Roddy Piper wasn't going to lose this match. I wish we didn't have to watch this match. I like Roddy Piper. Don't get me wrong. He goes from wrestling Mr. T in main events and Mr. T in main events to this. It's just what happened. Roddy Piper was in great shape, phenomenal shape, one of the best promos in the business at the time. I didn't get this. I didn't like this. I had zero care for this match at all. Just to see Roddy Piper. That's what I cared about.
So I was the opposite. I'm gonna be very honest with you. When I saw it was Roddy, Adrian Adonis, he wrestled in WrestleMania 2, and I told you he caught my attention. It was just the way the gimmick was and everything. And here he's a little bigger. You know, I don't know if he's towards the end, and maybe Maria could fill us in there. But I was, you know, intrigued by the match. I was like, and Roddy Piper, you know, obviously I think he's tiers above, and I mean, and I say that respectfully, but he reminded me of, he was the Dean Ambrose before Dean Ambrose, or John Moxley in regards of that type of charisma in the ring, you know, how the veracity he would go at. I always enjoyed watching Roddy Piper. So when Roddy Piper's on my screen, I'm going to tune in. And I was intrigued that it's going to be Adrian Adonis, because, I mean, we know later on he'll go against Goldust, and, you know, he did these type of things. So, and to tell you what, the physicality of the match really surprised me. It was physical, and Adonis doesn't look like you want to mess with him. Like, you know, he he is like, you know, you look at him and you go, there's no way. But then you watch him in the ring, like, no, there is no way. I'm good. I'll stand back here.
Mhm.
Piper, you got him. Good. I'm good. I ain't going in the ring with that freak. And I say that respectfully because he, you know what I mean? That dude looked like a beast. So I'm going to be honest. If Piper wins this match, and, you know, I get it. Hair versus hair, right? They cut Adonis's hair off. Beefcake comes out and does it. Piper wins with the submission. And, you know, but I enjoyed it. I didn't think it was that bad. I liked it. It was different feel. But Piper's always entertaining, man. He's always entertaining.
Yeah, he is. He's always entertaining. They build it as, and there were signs, and the people had signs up: "Do not leave, Piper. Don't retire." So they were billing it as his last match. So, like, if that's his last match, shouldn't he have gone against someone bigger? That's just my opinion. But I understand the match was fine. Like, the match was fine.
Maybe at that time again, and Maria, who and it probably Finstanza, if he was watching now. I know he watches every show, probably not watching now because he'd be in the comments and because he loved this WrestleMania. But, you know, again, and forgive me for not knowing, but maybe Adonis was big back then for fans. Maybe this was a bigger deal for that it was for us now, because we don't speak of Adrian Adonis as we do Roddy Piper. So, like you're saying, like, now, if it's billed as Roddy Piper's last match, you think it's going to be against someone bigger. You know, this is a bigger deal. But now, maybe Adonis was big deal back then. For us, he's not now. So I get your point, but I'm just throwing that bone out there. Maybe that was the case. But again, I enjoyed it. Let's see, he was a big deal back then. That's what Maria's saying. So appreciate Maria, man. Maria, you know, the historian back there for us who watched it back in the day. As we watch it, you know, later on, we're doing a rewind here. So very cool.
Now here's where things pick up. Here's where I start getting excited. Because we get the Hart Foundation and Danny Davis versus Tito Santana and the British Bulldogs, Davey Boy Smith and Dynamite Kid. I don't know who Danny Davis is. I know he's a referee. This was the best. This was probably the third best performance on the entire show for me. Danny Davis. Everything. The whole gimmick. The whole match. The whole cowardly heel thing. That's my favorite thing. It's one of my favorite things in wrestling are the cowardly heels. The guys that shouldn't be there that get their sucker punches in and then, you know, cower away. Then they get their comeuppance and then eventually win in the end. I love this match. I love Jim oh my God, I can't say his name right now. Neidhart. I love him.
Yeah.
That was great.
The
watching him in his prime. Yeah. Watching him in his prime. You see Bret Hart, world champion Bret Hart, running into that turnbuckle as fast as possible, doing that chest bump. Yeah, this match was exciting. Danny Davis, though, stole the show. Stole the effing show. I loved it. I have no words other than greatness.
Oh, well, yeah. First of all, again, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, Bret Hart, the Bulldogs, little Danny Davis running it. It was fun and it was cool. You saw these guys. They're like, this was the birth, because you know what Bret Hart's going to be. You know where he's going. So it's like you sit down, you watch this, and it's what's advertised. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed this match. Neidhart, man, love his smile, love his charisma.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was so cool to watch, and he was one of the, you know, you think about where Natty is now, and so you see her dad, and I told my kids, I was like, that's Natty's dad, and so they loved watching it. I loved it. And the Hart Foundation, of course, wins and defeats the British Bulldogs and Tito Santana. But it was a lot of fun. I did enjoy it. Wrestling Art Videos, thank you for watching, man. You're gonna have to rename Dynamite Firecracker if he doesn't snap up here now. But yeah, great to see him. Tito Santana was a big deal for the Latino community. He was, and he was awesome. He's awesome to watch even now. Tito Santana. I mean, that dude was legit. Justin Toner, he also cost Tito the IC title to Macho Man. That was a good one, obviously, right? But there you go. That was a lot of fun. Let's see, 8 minutes, 52 seconds that match was. So next one, we got Butch Reed and Coco Beware. What'd you think, Josh?
Skip. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I really am. I really, really, really am. I don't care. Coco Beware, like, this is one of those stupid matches. No disrespect to these performers. I couldn't do what they did. But it was a 3-minute match. Coco loses, and he's just so dumb, like his character, not him. He celebrates, and then he celebrates with the bird and this and that, and like, whatever. Happy, everyone's happy. Let's get to the big match. Like, that's what this was. It's filler. Again, we don't need 12 matches on a pay-per-view. We don't need 12 matches. Run a promo. Run a commercial. Do a backstage segment. Do something else. This was not needed, Bobby.
Let's see. Wrestling Art Videos. Bret Hart had messed up eye there when Davey Boy slammed Davis on Bret Hart's figure and went into Bret's eyeball. There you go. There's some backstory to that. Appreciate that. Love the picture too. The Sheik. They say this was a filler match. You are not going to be hating on Coco.
No, I'm not hating on Coco.
Love
but
Coco.
I'm saying, no, I'm not hating on. Like I said, I couldn't do what they did.
Can't do it.
I never could do what they did. But again, in a WrestleMania match, like we hold WrestleMania to a high standard. That's what my argument was at the beginning of this whole show was we don't need 12 matches on this card, and this is one of the ones that they could have cut. But again, great opportunity for those guys. It just wasn't for me.
Coco was fun, man. And, that's one thing I love his energy, dude. And he was a fun watch. You could tell he was over. I get what you're saying too. There you go. Wrestling Our Video says I asked Coco about this match. He said a lot of goosebumps. I bet if you had the honor, that was really cool. That's really cool. You got to talk to Coco about that. And I could imagine in this scenario, in this crowd, WrestleMania 3, to have a match and he, to lose it, but still to be in that situation. That's really cool. But I get it. It was right by all sense and purposes. It was a filler. It's only 3 minutes 40 seconds. But I guess you try to fit in. You try to give the fans their money worth. Hey, we got a stat card,
or you just try to give the boys a paycheck at WrestleMania.
Maybe.
Which one was it? Like it doesn't matter. Like listen, that's why I'm not buying AEW Revolution. Period. I'm not trying to sit through 14 matches. I'm not.
That's not the reason. That's not the reason.
I'm being dead ass. If AEW had 6 to 7 matches on their card and they were quality matches and they all didn't do the same thing, I would buy their pay-per-views because they put on banger effing matches every single time. But when it's a banger 20-minute match for 5 straight hours, my mind melts. If they had less, I would buy every single one of them. That is a fact. That is a fact. You know why, Bobby? You know why? Because I'm a man that can't sit there through a 3.5-hour movie. I can't sit there through a 5-hour show.
Yeah. You slammed Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King with the greatest moment ever in movie history.
I didn't even remember. I didn't remember that moment. Like never. Like it was just.
That was the biggest letdown. When you're like, I'm watching on Lord of the Rings, I was like, oh, the greatest moment in movie history is when they charge to Gondor, and after the movie, we get back in touch, and he's like, it was all right. I'm like, you son of a bitch. Damn, probably was sleeping, old man.
I did fall asleep during one of these matches. We're gonna get to it soon. It's a trend, 3 for 3, Mr.
I hope it's not this one, which is many claim to be one of the greatest, if not the greatest WrestleMania match of all time. I think it is one of the greatest in-ring matches in WrestleMania history, obviously. Loved every part of it, right? 2 great legends in the ring, 2 guys who know how to control the ring, make every spot look good. Evan loves this man, but knocked the ending to it just because the roll-up was weak. But other than that, I liked it a lot. I did enjoy it. Ricky Steamboat. The pre-package, I want to throw that out there. Mm-hmm. I think it was the pre-package. I don't think it was the actual match. But when they're showing Georgie Animal Steel running away with Elizabeth, and he's taking her away, he's kidnapping her, Monsoon or McMahon or whatever it is, and he goes, well, at least he has, at least she's in the arms of someone who actually cares for her. I'm like, it's still kidnapping, McMahon. I'm like, you can't just because you care, you're not supposed to grab. Call 911, But anyway, this match is always as advertised. This is always, if you really love professional wrestling in the ring, this is the one you want to watch, especially for old school guys. I loved watching this, man. The intensity of it, it was physical. They told the story before. You could tell the story in the match where, Ricky Steamboat is doing he's very aggressive. He's going a little overboard to what he usually is. He's that clean slate guy. He's not a guy who goes, doesn't try to cheat or nothing, but he was going overboard. He was looking to hurt Macho because Macho Man hurt him, which I love the pre-package before. And then Macho following up at the end, trying to get the bell. He hits the elbow, looks beautiful, the most perfect elbow in wrestling history.
Yep.
If Hebner's out, dumbass Hebner's out. It's like, come on, what are you doing, Dave or Earl or whoever you are?
He's out of position, man. He's out of position.
What a jacket. But anyway, and then Macho Man's like, all right. And then what does Macho do? He goes to get the bell. And I love the little things. I love the bell guy doesn't let go of the bell. Macho goes to grab it, and you don't see the bell guy. All right, here you go. No, and you see Macho kind of go, like, fucking give me the bell. I loved it. And then, and of course, here comes George the Animal, pushes Macho off. Then here comes, and get the roll up 1, 2, 3. Steamboat wins the IC title. It's a big deal. The IC World Heavyweight Championship, really cool moment. Macho's kind of like, what the hell's going on? Elizabeth doing her, freaked out routine, scared for Macho. This match had everything you would want in a story, in a WrestleMania match. This eclipsed the matches prior. That's what I'll say on this. What do you think about this match?
Yeah, this match was the first banger probably in the history of the world. No, this was awesome. I'm not going to slam this match. This match was great. By the way, I don't say this about the 80s and 70s because just different generations, but Miss Elizabeth could be a top model these days. She was freaking beautiful. I'm just saying, like,
respect, gorgeous.
Yeah, right. Like just pretty. She was perfect, as in plays the role of the scared, like abused, I guess you would say, manager / girlfriend / whatever. Savage plays the perfect. I'm a prick, but I'm the macho man, so she's gonna love me because who I am. And Ricky Steamboat is just the white bread baby face we all want to root for. George the Animal Steel was there. He added to the match, like because of the prior WrestleMania, and it kind of makes sense to follow through with this. But the only thing I could say is the roll up. I don't like the roll up. There was too many matches on this card where very, very little finished the match, like a crossbody or a roll up or a sleeper. It was a lot of these matches had piss poor finishes, and this was one of them. Wasn't a fan of the roll up. That's the only negative I had. Fast paced match. It woke you up. If you were like me, dragging through a 4-hour pay-per-view, not saying this was 4 hours, but if you're like me and you're dragging, and all of a sudden you see this match, it gets you excited. It gets you back into it. So yes, perfect match.
I want to say though, I can understand the criticism of how the roll up happened at the end or how it looked. It didn't look like the strongest. However, I do love the sequence prior to that. The many roll ups. We're like, oh, this is the close spin. This is the close one. This is the close. And then, of course, we had the finish. So loved it. And yes, I remember renting out WrestleMania 3 at Hollywood Video, Blockbuster Video, watching all the WCW 2, back in the day. Loved it. It was a small package.
Can I just say something about that? They say, oh, it keeps the wrestler strong. It protects them. No, it doesn't. How stupid do they look? Just because you got rolled, for 3 seconds, you're that shocked? You're that shocked? No, to me, it makes them look more silly. Than it doesn't protect anybody, but that's just my opinion. I'm not trying to get.
Are you wearing a Jacksonville jersey? I have to ask you. I'm sorry.
I'm wearing an All-Star jersey.
All-Star. Sorry. Okay. I just want to make sure because it's like, okay.
I have a Jacksonville jersey. I have a Gardner Minshew jersey.
Do you really? Okay. Yeah. All right. That's all right. I just, it looked like you were wearing one now. See the gold on the sides. Like, look like kind of like a old school Jacksonville jersey you had going on there. Randy was supposed to be incapacitated from hitting his head on the bell. Yeah. But again, I noticed that his head never came close to the bell. You know what I mean? But they were telling the story. They go, I think his head hit the bell, Jesse. And I was like, no, it didn't. Really? What are you talking about? I love the little jabs. First off, Gorilla Monsoon. You sent me something yesterday, and I'm like, you said something. I go, I thought something had happened. I'm like, what? What the freak happened? I had to go to Twitter and look and whatever. And then you're like, no, it's Gorilla Monsoon. I say, oh, okay, I get it now. But let me tell you something. He works so well with these villain or these heel commentators, Jesse the Body, eventually Bobby Heenan. Like, I just love their back and forth. I love when he goes, yeah, when you wrestled about 12 years ago, or 5 years ago, whatever. He goes, yeah, when you wrestled about 50 years ago, right, Gorilla? And it's like, what? I just love the little back and forth. That was really fun.
He doesn't let Jesse like bother him. He's like, Jesse, like he stays the straight man the whole way, and he calls it down the middle. Exactly. Like when the baby faces are staying in there in a tag team match. Well, they have 5 seconds to get out, Jesse. That's a disqualification. Well, they do have the 5-second count. And like, if a baby face does something wrong, he still calls it out. Gorilla does. So perfect. He's one of the all-time greats. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, Jesse the Body was great on the commentary back then. True too. Great chemistry with McMahon. with Mr. McMahon and all that too. So it was really cool. It's always cool to listen to those guys back in the day. It makes me think like when we get to the point of, and we will go through every WrestleMania. I think that's this is great. I love doing this because I want to see the difference. I want to see the switch off. When it becomes Gorilla and Bobby to, McMahon, Jerry the King, JR King, and kind of roll out because that's always what we want to judge. And here comes another one. And now I think about you when I see Jake the Snake with the bag, and I'm like, I see the snake's head in the bag, and I hate snakes. I'm so but what you talked about last time. So I see the snake moving, and I'm like, oh, Josh, and what I'm thinking of the commercial, in the eyes of the angel, this little sad SPCA. But anyway, next one is the Honky Tonk Man taking on Jake the Snake Roberts. Again, love the characters, love the gimmicks. They got Alice Cooper was there. Jimmy Hart was with Honky Tonk. Honky Tonk has the Elvis get up, which he's famous for. And he's selling it. He's going with it. I love, again, the story of this match, what was told before. You see the beatdown with the guitar. You see Jake Roberts not waiting in the ring, like, oh, let me wait for this guy to get in the ring. No, he wants to fight. And he's going to him, and Honky Tonk is trying to take off his thing to get to his gear, and Jake the Snake's not letting up. I found this fun. I love the gimmicks for both these guys. They're fun. They fit the times. Obviously, Honky Tonk, one of the best IC champions, down the line or back then. Jake Roberts, he could have been. There's a few guys that you watch like Piper, right? Jake Roberts, you go down the list, but there are a few guys that you look at, you go, if it wasn't like this blockbuster extravaganza where it was back then, the golden age, led by Hulk Hogan, who was this more bigger than life type of superstar, right? If it wasn't then, Jake could have been the world champion. He would have been a really good champion, probably a good heel champion. Roddy Piper, you look at these guys, you're like, damn, dude, like, man, they were fun. They were really cool. Obviously Savage won. Steamboat could have been one, but of course they were a product of their times, right? It wasn't, you weren't going to be the champion, even though WrestleMania 4 is going to change that. You weren't going to be the champion, but you could be the opponent. You could work up to that point. But these guys, man, they were this is where, like, you say, man, there's way too many matches. Well, this is one of these matches on this card where this should be here. Honky Tonk versus Jake Roberts. Piper, you got to add in Ricky Steamboat, Macho. These are the matches that you want to see at WrestleMania. I like this match a lot, man. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was fun. I never like to see the snake. Not because if you're new here, and I don't want to get preachy again, I don't like mistreatment of animals. I don't like it. But let's take that out of the equation. Jake the Snake here looks like a killer. Honky Tonk Man, I'll tell you this. I don't like gimmicks like that. The Honky Tonk Man, like that's his name. I was never into it, but I could see why people love to hate him. Just the way he worked, the way he moved, the way he talked. He was good. You're right. I think Maria said it best. Jake should have won here. He should have. I think he should have won here. I don't think that was the right call, letting Honky Tonk Man go over. You have Alice Cooper, who adds absolutely nothing to anything, but that's your celebrity moment of the night, I guess. Were you an Alice Cooper guy? No, and me either.
No,
me either. Didn't get it, but it does make sense that he was with Jake Roberts. Fun match again. Jimmy Hart. Look, Jimmy Hart. Managers mattered back then.
They did.
Like they just so like. How many times did we see Bobby Heenan that night? We didn't get sick of him. We didn't get tired of him. We were looking forward to more Bobby Heenan. Same thing with Jimmy Hart. Managers really mattered back then, and he was probably the main reason why this match was kind of fun to me. Yeah.
So the next first, and Maria, yes, Ricky Steamboat. I was talking about WWF. I wasn't talking about NWA, WCW. Yes, Ricky Steamboat was an NWA, WCW champion. He was amazing in WCW, NWA. Love watching him back then. Same as Harley Race, one of the great NWA champions of all time, one of the great professional wrestlers of all time. But I was just talking about in WWF, these guys back then could have been, you could have put them in that spot. And I mean, they would have been perfect in that spot just based off, their in-ring work and their characters. But would they have been as over as Hulkamania back then? Wrestling on Videos. Alice Cooper said that the Little Beaver was screaming at Bundy backstage for slamming.
What's the little beaver going to do?
Oh man, that is so cool.
Probably the most funny Little Beaver
Now
made.
I feel bad because Wrestling on Videos has the Sheik on there, and that's the one that I know I forgot. You see, I was trying to do all this, and I'm doing 1,000 other shows, doing the draft, basketball. You got 83 points, damn, or whatever. I don't have that one, but the next match is the Iron Sheik and Volkov, which again I love their pairing. I love the Russian national anthem before the show, and here comes Hacksaw Jim Duggan, who you get your first thing, appearance of Hacksaw at WrestleMania, and he's carried that gimmick for the rest of his life to this day.
Mhm.
God bless him. But he comes out, but they defeat the Killer Bees, which I'm gonna say don't know much about the Killer Bees, so forgive me there, Brian Blair and Jim Brunzell, but because that is the case, that was exactly what's supposed to happen. We got legends like Volkov and the Iron Sheik. It is what it was. They won by disqualification. So what do you think of that match?
Okay. I love Hacksaw. Hacksaw is one of my favorites. Hacksaw was great. But I love how he's like one of the idiots. He's the reason why they lost. He just hit Iron Sheik he just came in, hit Iron Sheik, disqualified. Another effed up finish at WrestleMania 3. Add on to this is what the 6-1 out of the 12. So half their matches were F finishes. Cool, I guess. No, but this was fun. I hate Volkov. I hate. I will say that I can't say it enough. I don't like watching him wrestle. I don't like watching him perform. This is the third WrestleMania we've covered so far in this series, and every single time he puts me to sleep. Hacksaw woke me up. That's real. I didn't really fall asleep, guys, but you guys understand. When you start digging for the phone to look through stuff or check your whatever or check your email, that's Nikolai Volkov. He's, how Charlotte Flair is in 2026 and 2025 and 2024, and pretty much her entire career. When Charlotte's on the TV, you pick up your phone. That's Nikolai Volkov. But Hacksaw Jim Duggan saved it. He saved this match. He got me hyped up again. He woke me up for Hogan and Andre.
First of all, stop disrespecting Charlotte Flair, okay, brother? You don't have to throw her in there, bro. The GOAT of women wrestling. Maybe one of the greatest. It doesn't matter, man or woman, dude. Charlotte is Charlotte, and Volkov is Volkov's fun, dude. Nikolai Volkov, come on now, don't be hating on Volkov, man. This was also the first time the fans threw trash in the ring.
Yes, so much. Every single time a heel was getting brought back on that cart, just trash. I couldn't believe it. These people, these savages. What's wrong with people?
Now, the main event of the evening. Andre What?
Maria said Volkov was more entertaining than Gunther.
Oh,
you are dismissed from the stream. If that's
come on now.
What?
All right. Many peg this as one of the greatest. What made people say WrestleMania 3 was the greatest WrestleMania. This had a lot to do with it. This is probably one of the greatest WrestleMania matches, WrestleMania main events of all time. Not because of the in-ring, they weren't doing a bunch of moves, obviously, because of the feel, the blockbuster of it all. This felt like a main event. They told the story prior. Andre, he's getting up there. We know the coming up WrestleManias, he's not going to be the same Andre, but he still looks phenomenal. He looks great. I love what they did that really sold it for fans, even if you were watching at home, especially, is when they were giving you the tail of the tape, Jesse the Body, which we know those numbers are inflated, but 7'5", 500 and some odd pounds, this many wingspan, and then Hogan at 6'8", 300 and some odd pounds, and you see these two behemoths standing in the ring. Well, first off, Andre comes out with Bobby the Brain, stands in the center of the ring, girth, size, and it all, just the nostalgic of it all. And then here comes Hogan, the only one who doesn't use a cart. He's walking to the ring. He's, with the thing in his mouth, and he's going crazy and all this whatnot. You getting the fans riled up, and you see, man, the power, for then, right? I mean, not talking about Hulkster, but Hulkamania. That's the fans were, this is why this guy was driving the bus. This is why McMahon said, you lead the way. Just like the Dolphins and John Eric Sullivan is saying, Malik Willis, you lead the way. That's what Hogan was to McMahon. And you see it here. You see just by the entrance alone, the video package before when Andre rips the chain and the shirt off of Hogan, and are you gonna challenge him? Are you gonna go? Yes, you're yes. It felt like a Rocky movie. They should have put like a Rocky thing of him working out. It probably would have been. I would have done that. But again, I didn't need to watch this match over again because I've seen it so many times, and I know how much of a big. We know Andre's been beaten before. We know Andre's been slammed before. But the win and the slam, the way they obviously present, which told you how the power McMahon and the broadcasters had back then, where McMahon's like, no, he's never been defeated in 15 years. No one's ever slammed the Giant, even though we've seen it before. If you go back and watch the matches before with Big John Studd, but hey, nobody's ever slammed the Giant. The fans go, okay, you never slammed. Nobody's ever slammed. And what does Hogan tries to do it the first time? Hogan falls back. Let me tell you something. It doesn't work for me, brother. He sold pretty freaking well. I mean, every hit by Andre, I mean, watching at home, if Hogan didn't react the way, Andre kind of slow, you could tell like, oh, come on, that don't hurt. But every time Hogan kind of, and he's shaking and, he's on the floor, he's like having a seizure and everything. And it's like, damn, all right, Hogan, make that money. He really sold it. So when he finally starts coming back, and I love that Andre did the big boot in the corner. I was like, Hogan started trying to clothesline. I was like, I wish Andre, if he was like Undertaker or the Big Show, that had a little more athleticism, he could do something. But then they did in the corner. He did the big boot. Hogan fell back down. Andre took back control the way it's supposed to happen. Then Hogan gets strong, and here comes Hogan, and he finally slams the Giant. What a moment! The flash bulbs and everything, and here comes the Giant leg. And holy moly, they slammed the Giant. He pinned him 1, 2, 3. The champion has survived. Here's your Rocky Balboa moment. This is what WrestleMania was all about. This is what WWF was all about. It was about the moments. It was entertainment. It was David versus Goliath, even though Hogan was no Rey Mysterio, who wasn't no little guy, but still, it made it feel that way. That's why, like, when you go, I love the poster here, right? Like, if you talk about in ring, yeah, Macho and Ricky Steamboat was great, but the main event was the main event for a reason. And my God, these guys lived up to that main event.
Yeah, it's the reason why I said every match, almost every match before this, felt like a pre-show match, because the main event was so far ahead and such in a higher tier than the other matches. If you were ranking these by a tier system, like tier A, tier B, tier C, this is obviously the only tier A match for, like, yes, we talk about Savage and Steamboat, but not the radio station, not the local casual person. I can't go to my boss. They know Andre and Hulk. But so this was like A, right? Steamboat, Savage, and that B series. Everything else is like that D, F series, and that F to me. So that's why this match felt so much bigger, I think, because every match wasn't so big. And it was just perfect. It was great, Mark. It was great promoting. Everything about it, the way Andre turned heel, the way it happened with Roddy Piper, all that. Everything you take, everything as a whole. You have the pre-show or in the hour and 30-minute match, Mark. Bobby Heenan's cutting a promo on Hogan. Then you see Hogan cutting a promo back. Like, they were building up. The whole night meant something. Where if you watch WrestleMania now, yeah, they'll say, tonight, Roman Reigns versus CM Punk, but you're not having a CM Punk promo against Roman out of nowhere. Like, they don't build them up like that anymore. It's just known that's the main event. And we'll get there when we get there. Whereas Monsoon and Jesse and everyone was like building up to this moment. Oh yeah, and here's another prelim match. But we're all here for one reason, and this is the reason. The reason was Andre and Hulk Hogan.
There you go. And again, we're gonna go. The next one we got next Saturday, WrestleMania 4. WrestleMania 4, the 4-hour spectacular. Andre's there, Hogan's there. You have I think, did they have a rematch? I think they have a rematch, right? It's the tournament. I think so. But anyway, I'm really looking forward to that. But to me, again, like this match, yeah, and I'm not ignoring the other matches prior, but this is what made the WrestleMania 3, where everybody's like, oh, you have never seen WrestleMania 3? Go back and watch WrestleMania 3. Maybe the best WrestleMania of all time. It was that match. So
I have to clear my name. Maria, Piper and Adrian was not a prelim match. I understand that. Neither was Ricky Steamboat. Neither was the Hart Foundation and the Bulldogs. But they didn't have the same aura around them as this match. Not even close. Not even close. Not even in the same ballpark. Not even in the same universe. It was just a different aura. And I know you felt that. We all felt it. That's what I was trying to get to. When we watch WrestleMania today, yes, Roman and CM Punk will be the main thing we all talk about. But we're also going to be keyed in on the Brock Lesnar match. We're going to be keyed in on Randy Orton, Cody, Rhea J. Like they're all going to have similar feelings. Whereas this, it didn't. It didn't. And it's okay because that makes that big match even bigger. And that's what they did here. So I'm okay with it. That's my final words on WrestleMania 3. By the way, ranked, you guys are going to hate me for this. I'm doing a live ranking update, and this is ranked number 3 on my WrestleMania list.
I was going to ask you, what's number 1 right now?
WrestleMania 2 was my favorite so far.
Okay, there you go. I like this. I want to keep that going. Like updating us. Okay, now WrestleMania 4. Where's that at? So that's very interesting. So anyway, guys, look here on first off, No Holds Barred Wrestling. Right now, what we're doing, as we're on the road to WrestleMania, but also even after WrestleMania, because we're not going to get through all 41, 42 WrestleManias. But what we're going to do is we're going to rewind and we're going to go back and watch every WrestleMania. We're going to talk about it on Saturdays. Of course, we may get interrupted, of course, with WrestleMania coming up here and probably do a pre-show or a post-show, depending on what we're doing on that day. But we're going to be talking about that. And I'm really looking forward to it. I love this because I first off, I love this era of wrestling. But I'm really excited to see how it evolved or kind of devolved, because at one point WrestleMania kind of shrunk again, kind of lost that luster a little bit when it started making that switch in the Attitude Era. So I want to see that growth and how it blew back up. That's going to be really cool to see. But also what we got going on in No Holds Barred Wrestling. Okay. We're going to have some of these kind of, No Holds Barred Extra, NHB Extra, and a No Holds Barred Extra, where, we're going to, on certain days, depending on our schedules, because we got so many things like myself, Josh does 1,000 other things on 1,000 different other shows. I'm doing, of course, wrestling, but doing Dolphins and draft, and I'm on other shows and doing everything else. And Josh is doing fantasy sports and football and everything else. So, but what we're going to do is these No Holds Barred Extras, where we're going to talk about current events, whether that is AEW stuff, whether that is Randy Orton turning on Cody Rhodes and things that are bigger deals. We're going to talk about that. So make sure, if you're new to the channel and you're watching this program right now, and if you enjoy us, even if you can't stand us, whether you hate what I'm saying, you hate what Josh is saying, subscribe to the channel. Be like Maria and Justin and let me make sure I pull up, because I just wrestling art videos. Comment. Maria, disagrees with Josh. She's going to say it. Josh loves it. We welcome that. We want that. So if you agree or disagree with us, subscribe to the channel. Join us on Saturdays. Join us on our extra shows. If you love fantasy sports, go check out Fantasy Now Plus. If you love the draft, you love Dolphins, you love Heat, you love subscribe to FTSN and join us for that. We got everything on here. We got all sports. So make sure you're doing that. Tomorrow, either in the morning or in the evening, I will be back live, of course, for East 10th Street Boys. We're going to be talking to Heat. We're going to talk about the blowback, all this stupid criticism of Bam Adebayo going for 83 points, getting that 83 points. Are you freaking kidding me? You freaking crybabies. Get out of here with this criticism. Bam Adebayo should have went for 83, and he got the 83. You wish you could get the 83. Shout out to Raja Bell for standing up for him. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Dolphins. There's a lot going on with Miami. They're doing a lot more than I thought they were going to. So that's pretty cool. And of course, again, look out for No Holds Barred Extra. Josh, any final thoughts to wrap this one up?
Yeah, most likely if Hangman loses tomorrow night at AEW Revolution, expect your boy to get on behind this microphone and rant about it, because it's absolutely ridiculous if he loses. He needs to beat MJF. He cannot not ever, unless they change the stipulation. I haven't watched AEW in a couple weeks. But if Hangman does not challenge for the AEW World Championship ever again, what are we doing? What are we doing? So I will have some reactions, and I might buy the pay-per-view. Just throwing that out there, because I do want to see MJF and Hangman. So I'm throwing that out there. All right. But thank you for everybody for watching tonight. Like, do whatever Bobby says. Subscribe to all of our shows. Real Talk Wrestling was really fun with Clutch on Thursday night. We talked about current events, Cody Rhodes turning heel, all the Danhausen, a bunch of stuff. So go ahead and check me out there Thursday night as well. But that's the end of the stream, guys. We'll see you next week with WrestleMania 4. Peace out.